I have over 200 videos on this YouTube channel and most of it are in 4K video quality. Would you believe that I am only using Samsung Note 23 Ultra phone for shooting and editing these videos? Stay until the end of this video as I am sharing how I use this phone in creating YouTube videos. Please subscribe if you haven't yet to support this channel. During the early part of this channel, I shot the first few videos using a Samsung Note 10 Plus. In the latter part of 2020, I shifted to Samsung Note 20 Ultra and has since been creating over 200 videos until today. The Samsung Note phones have advanced camera features that are considered standards for professional cameras. Both the Note 10 Plus and Note 20 Ultra are capable of 4K videos with its front and main cameras. The Note 20 Ultra can even shoot up to 8K video resolution, but I opted up to 4K only considering YouTube carries up to 4K resolution only. I am showing you my setting while using the main camera. The camera is on portrait mode or vertical mode. There's an icon, the gear icon at the upper left corner. If you click that, you're entering the camera settings. You can see there the video stabilization is on so that there will be lesser movements in the recorded video if I don't use tripod. If you tap advanced video options, you can see here I only choose the zoom in mic. Every time I zoom in or zoom out the camera lens, the sensitivity pickup of the microphone also zooms in or out, matching the lens. This way, the mic prioritizes what is seen on the screen. I am not using yet the high efficiency video features here. You can see the two options here. It's still off. Going back to the camera settings, I am turning the auto HDR to capture more details in the bright and dark areas. I also set the tracking autofocus on to keep the main camera focused on the selected subject even if it's moving. You can select the subject for autofocus by tapping it on the screen. Take for example, for now the camera is focusing on the foreground. If I tap the speaker at the background, then the focus is on at the background, while the image at the foreground is the focus. You can see that. Then I'll tap the foreground again. You can see the screwdrivers there being focused. So going back to the camera settings, I'm also using the grid lines as a guide during framing of the subject. If you go back to on the camera, you can see here the grid lines. That is those lines are very useful to frame your subject because it has lines. For shooting methods, I will tap that. I set the volume keys to zoom in or out. In other words, if I'm going to use the volume during shooting, the lens will zoom in or zoom out depending on which side of the button key or the volume key I am pressing. If I press the let's try. If I press volume down, it will zoom out. If I press volume up, it's zoom in. Going back to shooting methods, also here I turn on the voice commands. I only say smile, cheese, capture, or shoot when I'm taking pictures, or I could just say record video. This is very useful for me since I am always alone during shooting of my videos. I can also just show my palm to the camera to take selfies or start recording selfie videos. I am not using floating shutter button because I find it a clutter on the screen. Then settings to keep. These are the settings you want to keep the next time you are going to use the camera. I turn on the camera mode, which retain the last use mode, like for example video. If the last time I was using video, then when I restart the camera again, then it is automatically set on video instead of starting the default, which is photo mode. I also retain the last mode used in portrait zoom and keep the super steady in video mode always on. For storage location, I prefer to automatically save photos and videos on the internal storage for faster access. The Samsung Note 20 Ultra has 3 cameras on its rear which serve as the main cameras. The wide lens is 108 megapixels with a large aperture of 1.8. It also has lenses for ultra-wide and telephoto. You can record video on Note 20 Ultra from HD or high definition up to 8K. So let's open the menu here. You can see there HD from the right at 30 frames per second up to 8K at 24 frames per second. But since the common standards for now is 4K, which is the UHD at 60 frames or UHD at 30 frames, I set the camera at UHD or ultra high definition at 60 frames. The aspect ratio is 16:9, as most modern monitors are now widescreen. Down below, at the center of the screen, there's 1 times there. It means zoom lens is at default. If you tap that, it will open to preset zoom. There's 1, there's 2 times, there's 4 times, and 10 times. In short, you can use this button as shortcuts for zoom. So for example, if you tap 2.0, that's zoom 2.0, 4.0 times 4, then times 10. Okay, so it's easy to zoom in. Then if you tap more at the lower right bottom of the screen, it will open to more intelligent features of the camera. Most notable features here are Pro Video, super slow motion, hyperlapse, and dual recording. There's a dual recording. I use dual recording in some of my videos when I want to emphasize 2 different subjects that are in opposite sides of the camera. And using the Pro Video, you can now use the camera to act like professional cameras where you can manually adjust some settings. Let's open that. So you can read there below, there's wide angle, then there's ultra wide angle, then there are features below. For example, the zoom lens. You can see there's a slider, minus and plus. Okay, so you can adjust. That's the zoom wide, so you can do some adjustments by using the slide. Then also for microphones, you can choose which microphone you're going to use. You can use rear. When you see rear, you are using the microphone at the back, so I'm using the rear now. If you choose front, you are using the microphone at the front of the camera. If you are using both, then you can choose Omni. It will capture the sound equally from front and rear. Tapping the screen will let you go back to the Pro Video features. WB is white balance. If you tap that, you can either use manual or auto settings. So if manual, you can adjust the slider here. If you try auto, that is set at 5,300 kelvins. Then you can also use manual or autofocus. There's an auto, there's a manual. So this is auto. The foreground is selected. If I'll put my hand in front, one the camera selected is the foreground image. If I put my hands in front, then my fingers are the ones being focused instead of the screwdrivers. Then I can also change the focus manually. Okay, you can see the adjustment there. If I set the focus at 0, you can see there the image at the foreground is the focus. Then I'll increase the focus to 0.5. Then you can see there the image at the foreground is being focused. Tap again. Next feature is EV. It's exposure value. You can use this especially when shooting lamps. In my previous video, I was able to have a clear image of bottles that I put bulbs on it. Without adjusting the exposure value, all you can get is a snowy image. So let's try. So you see there, I am adjusting manually. The light at the background can be controlled using the exposure value. You see there? So if you are shooting against the light, for example, as what I am doing now, I am facing the window. If you will not adjust the EV or the exposure value, this is what you got. Very snowy. But you can adjust that. You can remove the snowy thing, the snowy light, by adjusting the exposure value. And your foreground or the subject of your shooting can be focused. Speed refers to the shutter. Most professional photographers adjust the shutter speed to get a clear image of moving subjects. So you can just choose either auto or manual. So you can see there, you can adjust the shutter speed. Then take note, the exposure value is also automatically adjusted because the exposure value is also referring to the opening of the shutter. So it will change also when you change the speed, the shutter speed. The front camera of Note 20 Ultra has 10 megapixels with an aperture of 2.2. I seldom use the front camera. I only use it when making spills since I am the only one recording my videos. However, my on-cam spills are most of the time recording only in 1080p because I am using the Motiv Video app while using the Shure MV7 microphone. But during editing, the output becomes 4K since most of my videos are in 4K resolution. I've been using Adobe Premiere Rush for editing since the early stage of this channel. Editing is fast for me since all the materials are in the gallery of the phone and access to it is easy. I don't have to transfer materials for editing from other devices. However, the Premiere Rush is buggy and the phone screen is too small during editing. My subscription to Rush is one of my only 2 direct expenses for this channel. The other one is the Shure MV7 microphone, which is essential in the audio production. My other expenses are incidental, like this Samsung Note 20 Ultra. I need the phone in the first place with or without this channel. For appliances and devices that I had reviewed, these are being used at home on a daily basis, so I should not count it as expenses for this channel. By the way, the demonstration portions of this video were recorded using a screen recorder app. I have a previous video about it. Please check the link above and in the description below. Also, for minor editing, I use the phone's built-in video editor, which Samsung has improved lately. On the other hand, I use photo editor for enhancing screenshots. For lighting technique, I use the natural ambient light, the sun, and the room lights. You can see here the light here and a ring light. For lighting technique, please watch this video. I hope you have learned another lesson from this channel. Please subscribe. Salamat. Ako si Jun Tariman. High Tech. Bye.